Hello guys, welcome. It is that SRB2 Dude here today, bringing you yet another Splatoon 3 video. Did Splatoon 3 fix motion controls? Most of you guys who are Splatoon veterans would know that motion controls in Splatoon 1 were by far the best thing to ever happen to the game. The smooth and responsive control that came with the game made playing Splatoon 1 an extremely enjoyable experience. Splatoon 2 was then introduced in 2017 to be the successor of the first game, and most of us transitioning over to the next game noticed that the smooth, responsive control was not the same compared to the first game. It has this thing that has plagued us for the last 5 years, known as input delay. Input delay is the time it takes for a button input press to show up on the screen in front of you. This can be very apparent when playing on a massive plasma screen TV compared to a 24-inch gaming monitor. It's mainly due to the big TV having to process more pixels in comparison to the monitor. In a test done by Alan P, it has been confirmed that Splatoon 2 had twice the amount of input lag compared to Splatoon 1, which is horrible, and it makes the feeling of playing Splatoon 2 even worse. To be exact, inputs would respond every 3 frames in Splatoon 1, where in Splatoon 2, it would respond every 6 frames. This is a 1/10 of a second delay as Splatoon 1 and 2 run at 60 frames per second. It may not sound like much to your average casual player, but taking into consideration of motion controls, there is a motion input that shows up on the screen every frame, meaning the screen would be trying to catch up 6 frames late, leading to a much more unsynced experience compared to Splatoon 1, which is more one-to-one with your controller and the screen in front of you. Coming into Splatoon 3, I wanted to give my opinion and signal boost the conversation so everyone understands the differences in motion controls in this game. Are motion controls fixed in Splatoon 3? Yes and no. Weird answer, but let me explain. When I playtested Splatoon 3 on the 18th of August, the very first thing that I noticed about playing it was that the motion controls felt really good, and much better than Splatoon 2 ever felt like. On the setup I was playing on, I was on a 55-inch TV, which was not a gaming-specific monitor. Like I said, this would be a component that would increase input latency due to extra pixel processing required. I was also connected via wired USB for Pro Controller. Bear in mind, wired USB for Splatoon or the Switch in general adds 1 extra frame of input delay, making the experience even worse. So yes, it felt great and really smooth to where it felt like my controller would correctly correspond to the movement I'll direct it to more consistently than I have ever played Splatoon 2. I bring up this point because I have also playtested Splatoon 2 before it was coming out in the same Nintendo offices with the exact same setup, a 55-inch TV with wired USB Pro Controller. And I have to tell you that the experience with that is that I was worried of the release of Splatoon 2 because of how inconsistent motion controls felt. So what has Splatoon 3 done to make things feel smoother? From a veteran Japanese Splatoon 1 player, Zado15 on Twitter, they made this comparison video showing that the camera has been made more stable, to where when you're generally moving, it should move by itself over a certain period of time, basically keeping the crosshair more stable. This time has been lengthened in comparison to Splatoon 2, as the camera for Splatoon 2 moves by itself as soon as you move anywhere. Now, to be very honest, I don't think that is the only thing that has made motion controls more stable. I think it's more of a technical thing for, at least for myself, I cannot explain to the extreme depths of, but for someone who has been playing gyro control at a professional level for 7 years, I feel that they have generally refined how they have implemented motion controls in Splatoon 3. Much like on Steam where you connect a Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, there are a bunch of different settings that could have been changed. I think one of them 100% was definitely the smoothing. If you increase the value of smoothing, it will make, of course, the controller more smooth. If you decrease the value of smoothing, it will make the controller less smoother, but a little bit more raw to the input that you direct your controller to. Now, I've played around with this a lot with a bunch of different PC games, and 100% smoothing is definitely needed, but too much smoothing could make the controller feel a little bit too floaty. I'm not exactly sure to what they could have done in terms of settings for Splatoon 3, but 100% they have definitely changed something. Now, it generally could be solely over this camera change, but compared to Splatoon 2, I feel like Splatoon 3 is just much less clunky and off-feeling than before. I'm not too sure if some of you guys have noticed whenever you played Splatoon 2 and the gyro would feel different every single time you'd boot the game up. I never understood why that was the case, but it was very noticeable to say the least. I did not feel this feeling after playing Splatoon 3 several times, booting up the game in the testfire, roaming around the tutorial level, and of course the 2 playtests that I did before the game even came out and before the testfire. Everything felt like I could genuinely build muscle memory and get used to it seamlessly. Now saying this, by all means this is not perfect. In fact, it's far from Splatoon 1's feeling. From recent tests by Alan P, Splatoon 1 is still 3 frames till a response, and Splatoon 3 is 5.55 frames. In terms of the test, it's a little faster than Splatoon 2, but not by much. I feel like the main issue of Splatoon, which is being held back to ever get that ultra smooth input latency, is due to the console it is on. It is definitely not a game issue. I feel like the Nintendo Switch is the main problem. I've even noticed this myself just navigating through the operating system. It feels very clunky and slow in terms of how long it takes for a button press to actually respond to any shortcuts on the OS. I truly believe that the hardware is the source of the problem, what is plaguing Splatoon and other games to feel as good as they could be. I still feel Splatoon 3, however, will be extremely fun to play competitively at least. The game feels more consistent to how Gyro is implemented. But right now, I feel what we need is a system refresh / Switch Pro, which has been rumored heavily next year, which I feel could solve all the problems with input latency for the Splatoon series. But dude, why don't you just use stick controls? If motion controls is so bad, why don't you just play differently? There's nothing wrong with stick controls. Well, at the same time, you guys are plagued as well, as you're playing the same game as us in terms of input latency. But at the same time, I've got a video coming up for all you new players and people who use stick controls, which will further explain why motion controls are better than sticks in every single way. And of course, I'll have a video talking about the best ways to learn gyro controls for all you people who are interested in learning. But just a small disclaimer, I don't care at the end of the day what you guys use what you want and use what you feel comfortable using. But if you truly want to get better, then join the Motion Master Race. But either way guys, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this was informative to you to understand how they could have changed motion controls. And of course, leave in the comment section below when you played during the Splatoon 3 test fire. Did you notice yourself when you're playing gyro controls that they definitely changed it in comparison to Splatoon 2? Let me know in the comment section below, because I've made a post on Twitter and I had a bunch of people say that they noticed the change as well. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter, both in the description below. Do it for both if you're feeling generous. And also make sure to join the public Discord channel where you can go ahead and talk to myself, the Dude Society community. It's also the greatest place to be notified whenever I go live for a Twitch stream. We'll also probably be talking about gyro controls and that and there as well, so come join us. Either way guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys in a future video.